Welcome to Bridges to Success, the podcast that showcases inspiring stories of individuals who've successfully transitioned from school to thriving careers. Today, we have a special guest, Christian Sullivan, who not only navigated this journey, is now an event producer and editor at Accenture, a major, bustling Fortune 500 company. So join us as we explore his story and the role Bridges from School to Work played in his remarkable success. Christian, how are you today?
I am great. How are you today?
I'm awesome, man. So let's just start at the top. Like, what brought you? Like, what is your role at Accenture, and like, what is your brief overview of your background?
So my role at Accenture currently is I work as a virtual event producer, and I also do a lot of video editing for the company. My background was always in, I'd say it all kind of started with a lot of technical support, a lot of IT. And that's always been my main background, was technical support as a personal hobby, a lot of computer building, and just a lot of, growing up with a deep interest in tech. So it just kind of flowed from there.
What is your favorite thing about the job that you have now? And like, what is like the passion that pushes you forward?
I think my favorite thing about the job now is being able to solve problems for people under pressure, because it's sort of like, you have a lot of people who are very important and are, panicking almost immediately the moment anything goes wrong. And you get to be this person that just kind of waltz into the meeting and is cool as a cucumber. And I mean, you're perceived as cool as a cucumber, and you just make everything work.
You like that?
Whether you know how to fix it or not, you at least get to walk in and act like you do, and then you figured it out.
I always say good producers are professional worriers. They're thinking about things that can go wrong, and they like solving them when they do, because it gives them that control to come in and help. And so it sounds like you get the same joy out of producing that I do, which is like quick problem solving, getting in there and like really making an impact and mattering. You really matter to an organization as a producer.
Yeah. I that is, you know what, I can definitely get behind that. That is exactly how it feels. Yeah.
Hey, how did you get on this career path? Like, what led you down it? I know you said technology, but was there a certain event that led to you getting this position or really pushing you towards, hey, this is something I really want to focus on?
I think what really led to in this direction was there is was well still is a coworker that I had at Accenture, who was I don't know, he just really enjoyed how much that I liked working with technology and troubleshooting when I was in my previous role. And over time, he suggested to this team that I was a good fit. And then on top of that, the fact that I was going to have access to a lot of the company's video editing projects from this role, that was also something that I had a deep interest in as a personal hobby, and this was going to be one of the first times that I was going to be officially in the reins of anybody's real work, and those two things mixed together. So I guess personal connection and a passion for tech and a passion for creativity and content creation, just those coming together at once. It happened to be kind of the perfect role for that. Yeah.
How did you get involved with Bridges from School to Work? Where did it start?
It all started in high school. So it was my junior year, and I had never heard of the organization before. But they had a lot of us go to our auditorium, which was where we ended up meeting Kelly, who is an amazing individual that I've gotten to meet and spend a lot of time with to this day. Um, and she was talking about the program, and it was honestly pretty intense. Um, but that was exactly what made me feel like it was something that was real, and it was something a part of a program that very clearly wanted to help, because I don't know, the level of seriousness that she had uh, was what drew me to end up going to that first meeting.
Tell me about that. Like you said it was intense. What is that? What does that entail? Because I think that that's interesting that that drove you there, because that is a symbol of like somebody who really wanted something too.
Yeah, yeah. The intensity was like, I mean, she really got, you know, straight to brass tacks, and was talking about you know, what we need to be willing to do in order to get jobs and get work. And it was always very clear that it was going to take effort, you know, very clear that it was going to take effort and good effort on our parts. um and I generally, in my mind, I was always a little bit scared of like what I was going to do after high school. I didn't really have like all of the direction in the world. I was going into a community college, but it seemed kind of daunting financially to go into anything else after that. So I was looking for other ways that I could possibly make it into or begin my career. Um, and I was, you know, feeling a little bit lost at the time, when I got to. I mean, she made an impression on me, and that made me remember this organization when high school was done. And I mean, and that's exactly what like Bridges is for, you know, from school to work and all of that jazz. But that was I immediately thought of that, and I started going to those meetings, and it was exactly as she presented it to be. You know, um, I was very excited to put in that work and put in that effort, because everybody there was also excited to put in that work and put in that effort for me. Um, so I that was the draw.
Yeah, that's very cool. When you go in, you say you go to meetings. How is it structured? So you got out. Did you go to college, or did you just decide, hey, I'm out of high school now. I'm going to go and talk to Bridges, and then like what moves did you make? Can you take? I want people to
Um,
understand like what the process is.
the process. So I mean, you know, I did end up going to college for a little bit. I was there for a semester. Um, long story short, I did end up having to. It was a break originally, but you know, it didn't quite. Yeah, I'm still not back yet.
Me
Still on a
neither.
break. Yeah.
Same.
Funny. But so uh, basically, right out of high school, um, there was an original meeting scheduled uh to basically talk to me and every other candidate about what exactly was going to be the deal with the program. We showed up, and I remember something that was really funny was we showed up, and I had no idea. Strangely, we were getting paid for this showing up, which was like super cool. Um, you know,
That's
as
really
a
cool.
kid, yeah, as a kid, I feel like you don't really have a concept of being paid for your time, but especially when an organization is doing this for you, that was very strange and very awesome. As a as a teenager, but yeah. So we came in, got like, I don't know, it was probably like $20 or something. Signed into a sheet, and we sat down in a room, and they sort of went over everything that was going to be expected of us and how this was all going to work. And the way that it was going to work was we were going to come by for meetings, I believe, weekly. Can't remember if it was weekly or bi-weekly. It's been a long time for me, but weekly, that were going to teach us general, job etiquette and interview etiquette. Um, and then we were also going to have our own personal employee representatives, who were going to train us even further past those group meetings and help us work on ourselves in more personal ways, um, that we might be struggling with, like, whether that be like maybe you're shy, or you're quiet, or you struggle to come up with the proper answers when you need them. Um, so and then on top of that, obviously that personal employee representative was also the person in charge of helping you, build your resume, and actually apply for jobs, and hopefully also nail that first or second interview of yours, because they I mean, I cannot stress enough how above and beyond this organization is in doing these things. And you know what, I want to like cut myself for a moment, and because I realize I'm probably going so far into a lot of this process, and you probably have other questions that probably go into this
No,
episode.
I love this. I want, I
Okay.
want, I want
All
you to
right.
continue because I believe that this is where people kind of have the roadblock because they don't understand what's coming and what work is expected. So I want to dive a little further in. How long is this process taking? How long are they involved with you? And also, I mean, wrapping it, all of this stuff and you're telling all this to me, it sounds too good to be true. And I want people to know, wow, this is true. And it also, man, it makes sense. Why weren't they doing this in high school to begin with, teaching us this?
Yeah, yeah. Too good to be true is something that came up in my mind all the time, and again was why Kelly, the way that Kelly handled it at my high school was the thing that made me feel like it was real. Um, and I personally, from my other peers that were Bridges candidates, uh, it was like they didn't, it was hard for them to believe. It's less hard for us as candidates to believe so much as it is for our parents to believe, because at that time in life our parents are still the ones taking us, and if we do happen to believe, I'd say, maybe if I was my parents' age, I wouldn't have believed that it was real. So, like, eventually you get to an age where everything just sounds like a scam. Um, and anything that sounds like it's helping you with no payment, and just out of the kindness of an organization's heart, that sounds like it's definitely a scam. And that was, definitely the perception at the time. So going into those meetings and finding out that it is very real, was super cool.
Because you're right.
But
So
yeah,
many things are scammy and not real. And
Hmm.
that's why, when I choose what organizations I'm going to personally work with, I want to validate and make sure. And, I saw immediately that this organization was different. So once you're in there, you said you had the counselors and all of that. How much time has elapsed? You contacted them. How much time has gone by to where you're putting in resumes?
Oh, okay. So, honestly, we started getting to it pretty early on. It couldn't have been more than two or three of these meetings before we were officially starting like a job search. And that timeline is very warped for me again because it's been a while. But I just remember it being pretty quick into the job search. As soon as we could, because even after your first or second meeting, you're meeting with your employee representative, and then they're asking you all sorts of questions just to, get a feel for everything, and getting to know you better and what you're interested in. And once they know what you're interested in and they know your job history, you guys can get started on building out a resume. Um, and by the way, you probably have no job history, but you probably have like maybe a little bit of volunteer work, and you've got some things that you did for school. And at the end of the day, for your first resume, that's what's going to be on there um, when you're looking for an entry level job. So um, as soon as we got our resume built, which again was a very interactive experience that I felt like taught me a lot and is still stuff that I use today when I have to rebuild my resume for other roles. Um, you know, I just want to talk about the fact that none of this is like done for you, which is just a really great part of the process for me is the fact that I'm learning it, and it's stuff that I need for the rest of my life. Instead of the organization just taking this all in, creating this for you, getting you your first job, and then calling it a day, um, which is super awesome because at the end of the day, they I feel like they very well could do that, and no one would bat an eye, but they don't because they are very very ready to invest personally and emotionally in your future. Um, which was always an amazing feeling to me, and the reason that I'm still in contact with Bridges, um, uh, all of these years later. I'm coming up on 26 years old, and I still reach out to my employee representative every once in a while, say hey, or maybe even talk about like recent updates in my career. Um, and still get emails sometimes from Kelly or so on. Um, but um,
Well,
going
you're a
back,
legend.
sorry.
You're a legend there. Like they see you as the ultimate success story of somebody who saw the value in the program, took advantage of it, and did the work, and now is benefiting from it. And like that's awesome. It's such a cool thing, and they speak so highly of you. And to have you reciprocate and say so many nice things about them, it's awesome. Not many of these things exist. So when they do, you grab onto them and you try to share the story. So my question to you is, how are you contributing to the success of others now? Has it inspired you to lend your hand out? Are you participating with events? Like, do you mentor anything like that?
uh, I I can't say that I have personally mentored anyone, but anytime Bridges calls me, anytime they send me a text message, anytime they send me an email, I cannot explain just how ready I am to just absolutely jump at that, and it doesn't matter what else I had planned that day. Um, I want to be there,
That's it.
and I want to be helping, and I want to be. I just feel like this organization, I owe Bridges my current life, as an independent adult living in my own apartment, and working a corporate job, and I'm also work from home, which is like super cool. Wasn't there immediately, but again, this is just the dominoes, and Bridges was a very important domino. So I am always ready to speak for them. I'm always ready to go to events and talk on the subject, and podcasts and talk on the subject.
Christian, that's mentoring, man. You are doing some mentoring. You just don't know it. It's really special, kind of what they've done and how appreciative you are. I think a lot of people sometimes miss what other people sacrifice and give to our individual journeys as they help us grow. And I think it's really cool that, you've been, giving back in such a cool way. What advice would you give to somebody who's in high school right now? They don't know what they want to do. They're feeling lost. They're feeling confused. What steps do they need to take?
And just making sure this is steps for someone that Bridges has reached out to, right?
Well, no. This is somebody who might see this podcast, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And what they're hearing your message, and what should they do? They're like, right now, what are the action steps
Right
that they
now.
can take?
Well, first, I think that they need to just, I think first off is building a good resume, or looking up some good information on how to build a resume, and looking up, because doing this as an individual, my tips for you are going to be basically exactly what was going on with me.
I'm talking about trying to get people to go to Bridges.
Getting people to go to Bridges.
Yeah,
okay, sorry about the confusion.
No, it's okay. I'll edit that. So I'm going to ask a question. I want you to talk about, if somebody's trying to reach out, hey, go to the website, contact Bridges, that kind of stuff, and reach out and just encourage them to do it. So, Christian, if you could say, if somebody is in high school right now and they're confused, they don't know what they want to do with their career, they kind of feel lost, what's your advice to them?
My advice is that you grab that hand that Bridges has reached out to you as soon as possible, and don't let go, because they are going to be an important and powerful guiding force for a good while to come, in your life, if you let them. And so reach out immediately. Go to whatever meetings they have planned, and learn everything that you can, and it's all going to be useful information. And this is how you get your career started, and this is how you find that direction that you don't have right now.
There's an organization out there where they're in 12 cities, Bridges from School to Work. They'll help anybody. If you're in another city and you want help, Kelly told me that she will help you find some resources where you're at. Go to bridgestowork.org, fill out the contact form, and reach out. Make that step, because you could have a great life too. It's just going to take a little bit of effort. And, I thought we were talking about years. And then I asked Christian, our guest today, and he said, oh, we were sending out resumes within like 3 meetings. That's incredible. And, the fact that there are people out there willing to dedicate their time to you, you have to take advantage of that. So make sure you go to bridgestowork.org, fill out the contact form, and get your journey started. Christian Sullivan, thank you so much for your time today. I love talking to you, man. I loved hearing your story, and hopefully we can talk again, because I think you have a lot more to share.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to come on anytime, any place.
Awesome. On behalf of the Bridges to Success podcast, I'm Jason Sorotin. We'll see you next time.